So we're almost at the end of the conference, but what we're having now is to go beyond business. Don't know if you know, but Christophe and Ludovic, Sigfox founders, have decided 2 years ago to launch Sigfox Foundation, because from the beginning, these entrepreneurs, they knew that what they will bring to the world could not only be used by businesses, but could be used to change the world. Let's not be afraid of having such sentences. American startups, they will tell you they will change the world all the time. We believe, thanks to the IoT, thanks to Sigfox, we can really, really have an impact and change the world. So that's the last part we want to focus on, changing the world with the IoT. And the first and the second session will be moderated by our communications director, Guillaume Binoche. And the first one to come here on stage is the director of our Sigfox Foundation. She will talk about a project they've been doing in Africa with Rhino. Please help me welcome Guillaume and Marion Moreau, director of Sigfox Foundation. You're alone.
It's okay?
Yeah, you too.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm really happy to be with you for this last session of the day. My name is Guillaume Binoche, and please give a warm welcome to Marion Moreau, director of Sigfox Foundation.
Hello.
Maybe a quick introduction before talking to you, Marion. This morning, Ludovic presented the vision of Sigfox and the roadmap, and he concluded by one maybe key passages about why we were all waking up in the morning. Maybe we can comment this quickly.
Comment on what we lived to this morning together.
Exactly.
It's an epic adventure. My takeaway, maybe, these are great announcements and a lot of promising technology for what we do on the foundation. And I think it's a great moment for Sigfox. I joined Sigfox 2 years ago now. So when I met Ludovic 6 years ago, because it's someone that I know for a long time now, he was the same vision in mind to act globally with a new service of communication, a new network. And today we are living that concretely. It's on. It's not a dream. It's something real.
But maybe to come back to this, can you maybe just come back? I don't know if everybody knows well the foundation.
The foundation.
The origins of the foundation, and maybe describe the vision of it.
Yes. So the foundation is a personal initiative launched by Christophe and Ludovic. So that means they put money personally on that project. Christophe Fortet is, as you know now, the chief scientist officer of Sigfox. He created the technology, and since the beginning, since he was, bootstrapping, experimenting something in his garage, which is a real garage, he knew that small messages would have a lot of impact on environmental issues, on how we could protect, on how we could prevent, and maybe how we could save. So that was in his mind since the beginning, and Ludovic is fully aligned on that. So they personally launched the foundation nearly 3 years after launching the company, which is unexpected in our sector. In the digital sector, this is very non-common. They didn't wait to be a big corporate IPO company to make impact as sincere entrepreneurs, as involved entrepreneurs. And that's something very, very honorable in a way. And I'm lucky because I have a new job. I used to be a tech journalist, but my new job is to help them to make things real, so to have impact.
I think you had some concrete examples to give us about, like, especially wildlife, what we can do with wildlife, and after we can maybe have a discussion about like how the really low-cost chip module can help you.
Yeah. So wildlife is something concrete now because we lead a project in Zimbabwe on how we could protect rhinos. IoT versus wildlife is completely obvious. You know why? Because we talk about small devices. We talk about devices in autonomy. and in terms of Sigfox setup, it's the same. We currently work with base station, with Sigfox base station, that are completely working in full autonomy with solar panels, and I'm going to explain later.
Just how many?
3 base stations in
stations?
Zimbabwe, yeah. Only 3 to cover 5,000 kilometers square. So it's like the third of Zimbabwe territory. Imagine 3 base stations. With a satellite dish, of course. But it's very, very interesting on how, without any 3G service, any coverage, any communication in the wild, we could bring that communication. We can make things speak, small messages from the wild to the cloud. We could not imagine just months ago, but now it's real. So maybe I could enter in detail with
Please.
the Now Rhino Speak and tell you and convince you that the IoT is fully a huge opportunity in terms of environment impact. So the Now Rhino Speak is a Christophe idea because it was a project 4 years ago. He was in touch with a conservancy area in Africa, but because of business issue, because he launched a company with Ludovic, the project has not fully be achieved at that time. So he said to me, Marion, let's go for rhinos cause, because he loves rhinos, of course, it's sincere. Rhinos are going to disappear in 10 years. Okay, so the rhinos you see is the rhino of tomorrow. Only a picture. No more rhinos in 10 years because of the horn black market. I'm sure you know now, Guillaume, that the horn is sold on China and Vietnam more than gold and cocaine. So it's a war in Africa, and particularly in South Africa. We talk about war. I don't know if you've heard about the first poached rhino in Europe last March, near Paris. Near Paris in Thoiry Zoo, a gang of poachers just shot the rhino to cut the horn. So when I said to Christophe, okay, rhinos are disappearing, we have to act now. Of course, it's simply to deploy the setup, the tracker, the device, what we have to do. And he said to me, let's begin with the GPS tracking. Let's track the rhinos, because actually the poachers are professional. They have VHF communications. They are hackers. They have the signals throughout existing technologies. But they couldn't hack the Sigfox network. They couldn't. So that's what we do. And maybe we could, I don't know if it's me to top the slides.
Yep.
It's already 400 days that we have the GPS tracking of 20 connected rhinos right now. It's been a project that was...
So it's in Zimbabwe?
In Zimbabwe, exactly. So we are working with the Local Rhino Trust and Save the Rhino organization. They are our operational partners. So we work closely with the rangers. 60 rangers are facing 6 poachers per week in that area. So what we do now is to catch 3 GPS locations per day. We have 8,000 messages on the Sigfox cloud. And what we only do is the GPS tracking. Why is it impactful? To have the exact location of wild rhinos is so important. Why? First, because it helps, really, really helps, the daily work of rangers, day to day. What was before? They just go, take a jeep, take in the field, face the risk, take the risk. They now have the remote platform with the GPS, the Google map that I'm going to show you. I will go back to the slide after. What you see now is the GPS locations they have daily on their mobile phones. So this is completely new for rangers today. I think we transform the conservation and the monitoring of the wildlife.
Just maybe to have some precision, why this technology, we have other technologies available, why it is especially useful to have access to Sigfox or other LPWA technology?
This is very key because it's in only maybe less than 1 year, we just transform, we just disrupt the conservancy, the monitoring. We could do that for elephants, for tigers, for lions. It's only a device issue, a casing issue. We know now how to localize precisely the animals we want to monitor. And second, it's an amount of data they have. You could imagine that if we track more and more rhinos, more endangered species in the world before they die, we could learn more from the animals.
But you told me yesterday, but maybe you can tell this again, that they discovered using these trackers that they had behaviors that they didn't know before?
Yes, what they discovered, and thank you for that point, what the rangers we're working with are discovering is new. And I said, what is new? And they said, we just discovered that the black rhinos, the white black rhinos, are going from north to the south. We didn't know before. A few months ago, we didn't know. It's new for us. We haven't that technology before. So now it's a day-to-day observation without any battery issue. Before, of course, I'm sure you've seen colors, big colors on tigers, on elephants. No, now it's nanotechnologies, very small devices, 3 years of battery life. It's a new paradigm for conservation,
Just
really.
Maybe a question that everybody is asking himself is that are the animals suffering from having these trackers?
For now, it's a veterinary operations, which are, I must confess, military operations. We have to dart by helicopter the rhinos, just to make them, sleep, drill the hole into the horn. So it's not so very easy. But it's not because of the technology. It's because of veterinary issues. We have to take care of the animal, but it's very, very much more better than colors. Much more better.
It's not changing the behavior of the animal too?
No, absolutely not, because the horn is like the keratin, like your fingers, nails. Okay, so it grows and grows and grows. So it's throw the tracker away when the animals is adults and mature. So 3 years is the right. The proper battery life.
And I'm sorry, I totally cut your presentation, so you can
no,
come back
it's
to
okay.
it if you want.
Maybe if I need some help to go back just before to the tracker rapidly, if it's possible. For technically, if I go back just...
the red button.
Maybe the red one, sorry about that. Yeah. The setup in Zimbabwe, I've just previously mentioned, is what you see. The satellite dish is a pro bono partnership with Eutelsat. Thank you for Eutelsat, because they are fully involved in the project, and we need the satellite connectivity in a wild area, and that's going to be huge this year to work with them. The solar panel that, of course, give the power supply to the base station that is installed in the white box you see. The drone you see on the left is Christophe Fourtet work.
Just what you're saying is that this is totally autonomous. Like you don't have to...
Totally autonomous for 400 days, yeah. So it's... and SquidNet, the Sigfox operator in South Africa, we are working with soon, because South Africa is, of course, facing the issue of rhinos poaching, are doing the same with the tiger, Sigfox Tiger, so the smallest Sigfox base station. Maybe I could just show you the GPS tracker just before ending the presentation. Yeah, that's it. This is the tracker we prototype by ourselves. Two things to say, and it's really a great project, because this device is only estimated for $50. $50 for 3 years of battery life. Imagine the scale, the possible scale. It's incredible. This tracker has been prototyped in only 2 weeks. We sent the material in Zimbabwe. We sell the components in Zimbabwe, and my software engineer just last week made a video tutorial with the components, explaining to the rangers how they could build the device by themselves. It took only 2 days for the rangers to build that device and equip on the rhinos. 2 days. So it's very easy.
One short question: what happens to the sensor after 3 years?
After 3 years, normally the horn is, because it's growing, it's just eject the battery, the device. Sorry.
We don't have a lot of time. You want to get on the presentation?
No, just to end on the 9 Rhino Speak project, which is the current project. Now we want to Our goal is to extend the project on other conservancy areas. Of course, it's only 20 rhinos, but it's good in terms of knowledge, and it's good in terms of dissuasion. I'm sure, because what we learned from the field is that one rhino equipped with the tracker has been poached, unfortunately. But we know, and that's a good information, that because it was equipped with the tracker, of course the poachers won't be tracked for now because of the coverage, but we knew that the horn sold on the black market, maybe in China, was sold 50% decreased priced because it was equipped with a tracker. So it's good to track rhinos because poachers are fearing the tracking. I think it's, results are, we know now we have 8,000 messages, 23 years, that's it. So,
Two last questions. Are you okay
Yeah.
with it? First one, you mentioned Eutelsat,
Yeah.
but do you have maybe other partners you work with to lead those
yes,
projects?
On that project, I convinced three main international partners, and it was quite easy, I promise. Just email and phone calls. It was simple like that. We have a technology, simple, global. It's right now. We can't wait. Let's test. They said, okay, and it works. So International Rhino Foundation based in the USA is involved in the project. Save the Rhino organization, the local organization in Zimbabwe, of course. And we will announce a big partnership with WWF soon, in the weeks to come, to extend the project in terms of rhinos protection, but in terms of other species protection, species conservation, and we want to have the support from this very global fund, global teams to address more and more zones in the world, in the wild.
Change maybe of another subject, but it could be interesting for us. We saw in the last weeks a lot of natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes. I know that the foundation is right now focusing on the rhino project to finish it and have all the rhinos covered. But maybe do you think that in this kind of situations, natural disasters, there could be like some useful project that based on IoT and LPWA technologies?
Yeah, there are a lot of applications in terms of how we could produce impact, how we could have results. Of course, hurricanes and earthquakes are completely addressable in a way with IoT, and of course with a low power wide area network. We have some requests on that. We have to be serious. We want to achieve something before communicate. It's something in terms of impact very important for us. No communication before we have results. So we are discussing with key partners in Mexico. And this is great to have ESSO's ecosystem. Let me just say you that, and it is a message for ESSO. Thank you, because being surrounded by many local partners is completely meaningful. In Mexico, we have a Sigfox operator fully involved. Let me just tell you what could be a next project is to put sensors in very large volumes to have the first signals of an earthquake, and we know that Mexico is fully facing that issues. That could be really feasible, but we want results, and we won't communicate before we have results and before we have serious partners. But that's something we are looking particularly at. Yeah.
Last question. We have 3 minutes left. What about the fact to have really low-cost modules? Could it help you to maybe have more impact with your foundation?
Yes, of course it has impacts, and the presentation this morning sounds to me. Why it sounds to me? It's not for promotion. It's not my job to make the promotion of Sigfox technology. It sounds to me because the more smaller we have in terms of device production, device prototyping, the nanotechnologies, in terms of battery control, the more we have the opportunity to densify the sensors on applications. Imagine on the rhinos, we have many sensors that could detect the behavior signs from the animals, it's completely huge. It's because we can address more rhinos. But other projects like Antarctica, and maybe I could mention the Antarctic project we lead first at the launch of the foundation. We led a mission in Antarctica 2 years ago with the Belgian state. We convinced the Belgian state to work with us because what we do in Antarctica is helping the research on climate research. Why? Because today this white continent, which is completely key for the next generation, and us today, to the global observation of Antarctic is satellite observation. But if we could imagine the reverse, the ground observation, imagine a lot of sensors, of course with energy harvesting, no battery, but sensors giving data for years and years, it could completely change the way we observe the continent and the way we can make the projection in terms of climate. This is completely key. This is what we began in Antarctica, and of course low-cost devices, long-term devices in terms of to address large territories are completely a huge opportunity to know more about the planet. That's what we want to do out there as well.
Thanks a lot, Marion. Just maybe one word in 10 seconds. Where can we follow you?
Follow you? Follow us?
Yeah.
Sigfox Nation on Twitter, as well as sigfoxfoundation.org to follow the project. And please tell the world that IoT is so useful to the planet. And of course, Sigfox Foundation is trying to do the best efforts. But tell the world that we are facing issues with some results and first achievements that are so promising.
Thanks a lot, Marion.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Guillaume.